Well. Welcome to another episode of Dirty Modo. I'm your host, Steve Letarte. Producer Trav in the house. Tampa Timms in the house. And Professor, what in the hell have you done?
I went camping, man. Just a little camping incident.
So for the fans who are listening only and not seeing this on the YouTube page, the Professor has the two most swollen eyes I've ever seen in my life, and you're claiming it's poison ivy. Is that right?
They classify it as tree poison. Tree poison. Whatever that means. Poison oak.
Did you jump in a bush? Like, what'd you do?
I don't know.
Isn't it like leaves a 3, let it be? Like,
No, I think it was poison oak. It was like a vine on a tree.
Well, good thing you didn't burn it, man. I've heard stories people get that stuff in their lungs and stuff.
Yeah, so that's what they were really worried about. Yeah. They did all kinds of tests at the doctor about that.
All right, well, we did feel bad. You feeling all right? You're up to the task?
I don't feel bad at all. I
just want to get that on the record before we have another crap pick in the 4 pick.
well, hold on a second.
Yeah.
There, you don't have room to.
I had to lose
on this
one. I've been on a perfect streak.
Yes. Perfect streak, my ass. You did like 1 week in a row.
That's a streak.
That's not a streak. Getting one is not a streak.
Well, the Degenerate
who landed their picks this week?
Yeah.
Not I.
You had an emotional pick too. That's the worst kind.
Well, just wait. You think that one's bad? I got another one for you at the end of this pod as well. You're not going to miss out. Speaking of, how did we do last week, Tampa? Let's jump right into it. Vegas, you had to feel pretty good. There's a lot of big hitters up there if they didn't get upside down on the front stretch.
Yeah. We turned out all right. I was kind of a light week NASCAR gambling wise. I was watching college football for most of the day, but I had a Byron over Larson, our plus 150 bet head to head, worked out pretty well. And then I had Bell to win. I had a lot of money on Bell to win, and that was kind of unfortunate. I do think that Blaney helping Logano there was probably the difference. What was it, 4/10, 3/10 at the line? There's a little bit there.
I think Blaney helping Logano, and I think Bell getting caught up behind John Hunter on one lap and another. I mean, it really came down to just a couple moves.
Yeah.
It was a good race. I was entertained. It was an interesting finish. I like the split strategies.
Steve, what do you make of Blaney opting to help his teammate when it actually hurts his playoff chances going forward?
I don't think they're that calculative. Like, maybe next week he's going to need Logano to help him. That's what I think about it, right? I think you do anything you can for the company. I mean, he didn't pull. I guess here's my difference. If he's been leading, he's not going to pull over and let Logano win. But I had no problem with what he was doing. It's fine. I like it. I spent 4 nights in Vegas. Night 1, A- on the tables. Night 2, B. Night 3, B+. Night 4, failure. Glad you find that funny, Russ.
What, like all the way failure?
All the way to the machine that pays every time.
How did your gambling do, Russ? You said you were on the downslope.
Yeah, I had a couple really bad weeks, and then I was plus 12 this week. I had some really good parlays.
That's interesting. Steve, did you get any text messages on bets?
No, I figure on West Coast time, too. I was up late. I definitely wouldn't miss them.
I got nothing. Timms, did you get anything?
Hey, listen, I'll defend Russ. When you're on a heater, you don't want to jinx it. You don't want to text nobody. You're like, hey, I can't ruin anything I'm doing right now. I'll defend you, Russ. I sometimes do the same thing.
So I had Mike Evans anytime touchdown, the over on the Ravens game, and Baltimore money line. That was a pretty good one. Then,
is it true that you made the Degenerate 4-pack -1 bet?
Yes, minus Stevie's, and
still lost.
Nope. I cashed out, my guy. I cashed out before the Jets lost for 5 times my money, bud. Without your Vanderbilt stinky bet in there.
All right. Well, let's jump right in. The NASCAR Cup Series heads to Miami. Second race of the round of 8. Logano's 1 is on his way through. This is the heavyweight race of heavyweight rates. Last 3 winners, Larson, Bell, Byron, all above the cut line. First guy below the cut line, Dennis James Hamlin. He's also won here 3 times. So I said earlier today, will the real Denny Hamlin please stand up? Like, I don't know where the guy has gone. I don't know where their team has gone. It's been anything but smooth. But I will say this. Have they left Denny hanging around long enough, right? Like, man, he's the type of guy you want to eliminate right away, but yet he's still here. I don't know if it'll happen or not happen, but we'll have to see.
I have a question, Steve. So we saw 2 bad pit stops by the 11 team. Both times he slid in short. How much is that on the pit crew? Like, what goes on there? What's wrong?
So if they were slow pit stops, I would have said it was where the driver positioned the car because he didn't do anything to help his pit crew out. But you still can't have jacks drop with the wheels not tight. So if it would have been like a slow right side or slow exchange or slow going to the left side because they had to go to the wall, different positions. So Denny was just off his game, but there's still no excuse for not tightening wheels. Now, when I say no excuse, it's still a human error. Like, these guys are doing this in under 10 seconds. You just don't want to have – here's the deal. If you want to do 10 twos or threes, you'll never drop it before the wheels are tight. But if you want to do 9 twos, it's kind of like a slant pass. A 10-2 is like a hook route, right? You watch the guy run, you watch the guy turn, you throw him the ball. A 9-2 is like a slant. It's like 1,001, 1,002, I'm going to throw it to a spot. And if my guy's not there, it's going to be over the middle intercepted. And that's the best way I can equate this, right? It's purely a timing thing. You're not even watching the tires being tightened up if you're going to do a 9-second pit stop.
Would you, if you are JGR, think about making a change to his pit crew? You have 2 teams in the playoffs, 2 teams not in the playoffs. So you got pit crew members that you could make some moves.
If I was smart enough to know what was wrong and knew I had a solution, but I'm not sure they have a solution. I mean, to be quite honest.
Bell's crew's been the best, at least over the last 3 weeks. They were definitely the best this past week, too.
Listen, I swapped the pit crew in the middle of the race, so I'm not afraid to make a change. It's true.
That was awesome, too.
Let's get to
I want to say that was great TV.
Do we want to know the real story? Do we really want to know the whole story?
I'm curious.
All right, so we were both at Texas, and we were both pretty good in the 24 wrecks. 48's running for the championship. We go to the garage, look at our car, can't be fixed. I walk up to pit road just really to tell Chad, hey, I'm going to get something to eat. I'll see you at the airport, right? Like, so I walk up to the pit box, climb up there. I'm like, man, what the hell's wrong with your You run like 5th or 6th every time I come up here. My pit crew stinks. I'm like, all right, you want mine? Really? Like, they've been rock solid like the last 10 weeks. You want me to do it? Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's a good idea. So I walked down to the garage, gathered my guys up, say, hey, man, you guys up for this? And they were like, yeah. Went up there, swapped out air gun. Now, in hindsight, we probably should have changed some fire suits. Probably some other things could have happened. We just strutted them right up there to pit road, unplugged some air guns, swapped a jack, swapped some dump cans, and voila, off we go. Pit crew swap. Heard around the world.
I mean, we talk about how these pit crew are former athletes, and we talk about how important they are nowadays. Let's treat them like athletes and make the changes and do whatever you got to do to keep your playoff driver, cars in the playoffs.
Hey, man, listen, it's not intramural football. You got to get it done, right? It's not club games.
Stevie, could you do that today or not? Because of the rosters.
What do you mean?
Is that
So
still
it's an interesting question. I don't think you could, because rosters, you're only allowed to put people over the wall that you have listed as backups to your current pit crew. I don't know if it needs to be an injury or not. I think you can make the change without injury. I don't actually know that. I have to ask NASCAR. But you couldn't swap the pit crew because roster wouldn't allow you. You'd have to make it between weeks. Hey, NFL fans, the NFL season is in full swing, and FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, has you covered. When you're locked in and have a hunch on a game that's underway, head over to FanDuel to make a live bet. You can check out the latest stats, view play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place bets. You get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com/Dough, D-O-U-G-H. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and present in North Carolina, first online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Well, guys, we're back to the predictor, and once again, we've added colors and yellows, and we got what is this second group you have here? It's everyone. You have a first group, everyone, and a bad group.
It's fun. It's fun.
All right, let's have it.
So Bell, Larson, Byron, Hamlin. I don't think there's any surprises there. Then we have Reddick, Chase Elliott. This is a big group because they're very close together here. So Reddick, Chase Elliott, Chastain, Bubba Wallace, Alex Bowman, Truex, Buescher, Kyle Busch, and Ty Gibbs.
Larson 3.5 to 1. Reddick, Book likes him more than the professor. Then Bell, Byron, Hamlin, Blaney. So I'm a little surprised by the Blaney highlight here, but we're going to get into that. That means that Tampa's interested. Let's start with Bell, Larson, Byron, Hamlin. 4 at the top. Larson's a favorite. Are you skipping him because 350 just doesn't interest you?
Yeah, no interest in there. I think I've seen him down to 310 as of, before this podcast started. There's no interest there. I mean, he was the favorite last week too, kind of same price, and led one lap, finished 11th.
And I think the book has to put him there because if he was 6 to 1, you'd be on him for sure.
100%.
I mean, fine. They're basically like, it might actually bump up if they don't get any handle on them at all. They might be like, oh, let's try 4 to 1 and see if we get a little action.
I'd even take him at 500 at this point. I mean, it's Homestead too. It's his track.
I really believe the bet on the board you have highlighted, and that's the third highest odds, and I think you better get him before practice because he's going to ring the bell in practice and ring the bell in qualifying, and that is Christopher Bell.
Oh, yeah. I've been high on him for 6-7 weeks. He hasn't won since July. I can't believe it. He's run in the top 5. It seems like every race, all race, hasn't won. At what point is he going to break through? So I got to be on him at 7 to 1 too. He should be right there with Larson at this point.
I'm shocked that you didn't show up in full Christopher Bell regalia because you are the president of the C Bell fan club.
Hey, I mean, he's going to cash us one of these.
Did you ask Hemrick to dump Dylan, or was that natural?
That's just natural. I mean, Austin probably saw Hemrick coming and goes, you know what? I'm going to break easy for him, let him run right in the back of me. He'll give me a boost in the corner. And nope, it just turns him right. And then he's mad.
Oh, boy. So you have Bell highlighted. I like the Byron bet, too, at 8 to 1. Byron has been on fire. His average finish is 2.7 or something last round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Byron's second to Bell and, recent trends and all this stuff. He's becoming a Bell type of bet where he's going to win one of these and either Homestead or Martinsville and move on to Phoenix that way.
Timms, are you betting playoff drivers only to win? What do we think? Who do we think is going to win?
I think it's going to be a playoff driver. I think that's a given. Now listen, it's been a crazy year. Anything can happen. I do have a underdog, real underdog highlighted for a sprinkle, but it's going to be a playoff driver.
You're not really betting Dylan.
I put a note there for you too on that bet.
Yeah, I know. I saw it. I could donate my money to the Degenerate 4-pack if you want. I mean, 10,000 plus 10,000 is a little sprinkle, maybe $1. I mean, his numbers are good. Russ, tell him about the numbers.
No.
He's using Russ's numbers against him.
Come on, back me up.
So
in the next gen era.
You know what he sounded like right there? You know what? Oh, wait. You know what that quote sounded like? Wolf of Wall Street. Tell him about the apps. The apps. We ordered the apps. That's exactly what he sounded like right there. Russ, tell him about the numbers.
So he's got a point on a top 10 bet, but I just can't get him to win. So he's been 12th or better in the last 5 races there with 4 top 10s.
That's not that bad
track for him, but there's no way you can get him to win.
Steve, with this race, any strategy come into play that a driver like Austin Dillon could race to win, or is this straightforward 4 tires, gas?
4 tires and gas, unless we have so many yellows that you have to start saving tires. This is just a toe-to-toe dogfight, kind of like Darlington, which is why I do like the playoff drivers.
There's been a lot. So Blaney's highlighted. I don't necessarily agree with it, but he's highlighted because there's been a lot of movement since the lines came out on him. He went from 13 to 1 to 10 to 1. And I'm not really sure why he's been getting a lot of money. That's a pretty big line movement for a guy in that mid-tier.
I think everyone's forgetting Hamlin was going to win that race or run second until his steering failed.
And Larson ran into the back of Blaney coming to pit road.
Hamlin at 12 to 1 is enticing. It's just that pit crew has been god awful. We just talked about it. It's a little untrustworthy for me.
What do we make of the Penske guys? The model and Vegas are totally two opposite sides here.
So Logano's not going to do anything, right, Stevie? Like, he's just going to stay out of everybody's way.
I don't think he'll be down there. I don't think he'll be fast enough to win the race. Yes, I agree.
What about Blaney?
He's good here.
So, Russ, why do you have him 16th compared to where Vegas has him? Or you have him 14th, sorry.
Well, he was second here last year, but then before that, he only has one other top 5 at Miami. He's got 2 top 5s at Miami.
Look, I think the odds are right. I think Larson's a hammer favorite. I think Reddick is... He's a little hard here. He's special at this track in Kansas, running the top. Some of that Reddick lore comes from the Xfinity series where he won 2 championships running the top. But still the same track, different car. I love Bell. I love Byron. I love Hamlin. I think Blaney and Elliott are the next 2. I do think Truex is a conversation. If you believe he's going to win before now and the end of the year, you got to think this is it. Logano's already done. Chastain, I mean, is going to always probably for non-playoff guys, it's him and Truex. That's kind of the story of the playoffs, wouldn't you say?
I would agree.
So then the question is, where's the value anywhere else? I see a Chastain top 10, a Bowman top 10, a Bubba top 10. I mean, Bowman's plus money for a top 10.
I don't love Bowman's stats here. I also just think he's the only Hendrick car not in the playoffs. I don't, with 2 races to get all 3 of those guys in to those final 3 spots, I don't know how much emphasis you put on that 4th car.
I see your positioning. I think the value bet, one of the value bets on the board is crazy to say, but I think Dinger's numbers here are amazing at almost 2-1 for a top 10.
That's what I was just going to say. Top 5 in the last 2.
Really?
He's won in the Xfinity race already, so he's into those playoffs. So he's going to have no stress on Saturday, right? So think about what he's doing down here. He's carefree. He's swinging, he's just having a good time. Good weekend. Enjoying the weekend.
He just flies under the radar when it's not a road course, and he's running because he's running part-time this year. I'll be honest, I misjudged him. And he's 27th on the Predictor, but probably because he's part-time.
Yeah, it's hard.
What's that do for a driver? Forget they can work on the car and get things ready for Phoenix, but just for the driver to go into a race stress-free. What's that do, Steve, for them, for Logano?
Nobody wants to talk about it. We've all had things in our lives that weigh on you. And you know how, you sleep, you're exhausted, you're tired. Like, the emotional toll of performance is real. So I think a driver that can take 2 weeks to kind of recharge, it's an advantage. Now, can they become distracted, right? Like, some guys are better locked in. Like, I would say Denny in his career has been better in the chaos. When he has all these outside chaotic things, he seems to find a way to perform. I can't speak directly to Allmendinger. He doesn't strike me as a chaos guy, so I think the time off is going to be good for him.
What about Logano?
So Logano's percentage of wins in the playoffs is unbelievable. What is it, Russ? He has 35 wins, right, and like 14 are playoff wins?
I think it's 13, but yeah. He's third all time in playoff wins.
Yeah, so my point is, I think Joey Logano, and I've said this a bazillion times, is one of the most valuable drivers in the garage for all the intangibles. He can drive, but he's also not very emotional. Seems like he would be I've never been in a team meeting with him, but I think he would come in there and just tell you what he thinks without pointing fingers or placing blame. While he does have tussles on the racetrack, he is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, better than anybody I know. He's the nicest guy I know, run into in the garage area, and he puts a helmet on, and he's an absolute prick, and that's an absolute compliment. Right? That's what you got to be. You got to be like I am. You got to be damn Ray Lewis trying to break your neck. That's the damn fire you got to have. But he finds a way to take the helmet off, and he's super manageable. So, man, I don't know what the magic sauce is for Joey Logano. All I'll tell you is the playoffs started and he won. Then he got kicked out. They took the interviews like a man, said we weren't good enough. We tried. We did our best. We ran well. It wasn't enough. Then they got put back in, and then voila, here they are again. That's all I really have for this whole section. Am I missing anything? I thought the Allmendinger top 10 was worth a discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And Austin Dillon's numbers are really good at Miami. There's no
3.5 to 1. Listen, I the Hocevar and and the Zane Smith. I mean, I don't know why they're running that good, but they're up there.
It's just I just feel like this is such a playoff driver race.
Yeah, I agree. I know
It's so tough to find. I mean, I love anybody trying to find a sprinkle on a top 10 for a long shot, but it's tough for me to find that value there.
Let's go matchups. Legacy and front row. Woof. HMS and JGR, no way. Penske 2311 ain't touching it. Trackhouse and RCR.
I like RCR better because Dylan's not bad here, and Kyle Busch is going to be good.
And all the matchups are like minuses galore, except for Larson and Byron. How about that Larson Byron? He only has to beat one car last week. Just one car.
He's only plus 115 this week, but I still think you throw it on. You throw some on.
Cashed it, right? Byron outran
Yeah.
Larson last week.
Yeah, he was plus 150 too.
One for the good guys.
It's simple bet.
You got to take Byron at plus money over Larson again. It's still one car.
100%. I kind of like the Bell versus Reddick too.
I mean, Reddick and Bell. You're still riding the Bell train.
Yeah, but I'd be interested to see what their head-to-head has been. But I mean, this is a track that Reddick, like we always say, he can rip that top.
Yeah, but something's amiss. Like they just haven't. I don't know.
What do you mean something's amiss? With Reddick?
Yeah.
I mean, the man won stage one and would have been fine if he didn't force the move, though. Like, he was racing fine on Sunday.
Until he flipped.
Okay, but he wasn't, like, in the back of the pack.
This is all green Bell on the head-to-head.
Reddick drove like I want Reddick to drive, and he wrecked. And he's going to drive the same way this week.
But to me, that doesn't tell me that, like, something... I don't think they've been racing great, but I can't use last week's race against them.
He wrecked last week. He got ran over by his teammate the week before. Like, I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm just saying if there's a meteor, that's going to hit the 45.
Okay, that's fair.
When I say a miss, I don't mean like his talent. I'm saying bad juju. He got Rick Allen. He lost the rabbit's foot. He walked under a ladder, broke a mirror. I don't know what he did. Eating peanuts, counting 50s. Stack it up. It's not good for the 45 at the moment.
That's fair.
He peaked right before the playoffs, and then the playoffs started, and that's kind of he's going to the storm.
I don't even think he's racing tight. Like, what I saw from Vegas was the opposite. He stuffed it on in there like, this is what I do. And I actually didn't love Denny's opinion. I actually, live in the broadcast, said I like that move. Now, I respect Denny's opinion. He's won way more than I've ever won. So I'm not saying he's wrong. But as an analyst, I'm like, I like to see the free flower. I like to see the guy that slung it to the top. Now, also, I'm looking for an exciting race. That's what I'm looking for, All right, matchups. So we like Byron Larson again. You're going to ride the plus money train. Bell and Reddick. I mean, the Bell, it's all green Bell, and you love Bell.
Yep.
Groups, we don't even play groups. Can we admit we don't, or should we look at them? Let's look at them.
We do not play groups.
Another six-man group is a joke.
Hold on, though. Let's go down to Group F. Allmendinger, Briscoe, Dillon, Gregson. Dillon plus 330, Timms.
I hate to say it. Damn, Trav's coming in hot with this one. I'm going to give him credit. Get those little iris start tickling the iris over there, Professor. I would ask how your eyes are, but you're so blurry, I can't tell if you're even there anymore.
It's an AJ Allmendinger.
Dillon second.
Still in second.
All right, Trav. I'll give it to you. And I don't think you necessarily have to run top 10 for this either.
Correct.
This is crazy to say, but I actually would put a unit on Dinger and Dillon. If you put a unit on Dinger, you win 0.35 of a unit total because you win 1 and 3.5, right? And if you put it on Dillon, then you win 2.3 units total. I'm telling you. That's a fade SHR wager is what that is. Take Dinger and Dillon and hope SHR doesn't have it. Huh?
Yeah, 3 to go.
I agree. Fade SHR Group F. Trav, the man. I like that one. Daniel Suarez over under 15.5. I have to believe the over is a cash bet in this situation. Let's meander over to the predictor. 17th.
He's been 16th, 10th, 15th, the last 3 there.
Oh. I'm not betting. I can't.
Because it's minus 140?
Yeah. I would just avoid it after those numbers. Kyle Busch. This is a hard one because the date is going to say under 16 ways from Sunday.
Yeah, so he was 18th there last year, but he was finished top 10 in the previous 8. So Chase Elliott, he hasn't finished worse than 15th there.
Yeah, I don't love that bet either. How about RSJ? I mean, I hate to say it, but I feel like this should be an over.
So the last several have been 27th, then 15th, 13th, 20th, 19th, 16th, 15th.
No, too close. That's another avoid. Good job, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. proving me wrong. Drivers to lead a lap. This has got to be over.
2 of the last 3. The only ones in the last 12 years.
So is it a next-gen thing or not? That's the question you got to ask yourself.
There's only been 2 next gen races here, right? Were both of these over it?
No, I think it was a 1-1.
Yeah, I was afraid of that. It's so tight. I can't lean myself each way. I need like liquid courage.
I can provide that.
Yeah.
And the 2 over were just 9 liters. It wasn't like it was like.
I'm not going to make it up for the listener. I don't see anything I like. Winning team championship. No, thank you. Championship driver. Although, no. I want to talk about Timms. Timms, I think you gave bad advice to a guy on social.
What did I give bad
He
advice
had
to?
4 drivers to win the championship.
Oh, I do remember this guy.
So I agree with your advice on the 3 that haven't qualified yet, but I would cash out the positive money for Logano right now.
Yeah.
Unless, this is a question for odds, unless you think Larson winning would make Logano's odds taller.
Okay, so here's what this person tweeted. He's got a Christopher Bell to win the championship, 25 to win 125. Reddick, 25 to win 175. Larson, 25 to win 150. Logano, $7 to win 122. Right now, Logano, he could cash out for $22. Larson, he could make 5, and the other 2 would be losses.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think it's my.
I love
think
your
it's Larson,
advice on
Bell,
the 3
Byron.
that were down. I'm like, no, just wait till they get in.
Yeah. He's already going to lose money on the Reddick if he doesn't get in. So I wouldn't even cash that one out.
Agreed.
Yeah. I would cash out Logano. But
You watch lines. What's the Logano going to do with, let's say the opposite. Let's say we have a non-playoff winner here. Probably nothing changes. What if Larson or Bell win this weekend? Does Larson's cash out go down? Because I think it does.
I think it does too.
That's why I
mean
think the advice would be
Logano's?
to cash out Logano now.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I could also see him winning. That's my thing.
You're not wrong there. He could
Because he
absolutely
won
do it.
2 years ago. Blaney won didn't win, but won the championship last year. See, that's the horn.
I see what you're saying, but I think the books would still bump it up just a little to try to entice you to cash out.
What odds did he get it at again?
For Logano, plus 1,600.
My thing is, when it gets to that, he's either going to have to cash out after this weekend, because if it gets to after Martinsville, I don't think you see him at plus, what was it, 16? All 4 of them are going to be probably under 10 to 1.
There was 2 250s, a 3, and a 350.
Yeah. I would think Logano is going to have the longest odds, unless maybe a Chase Elliott gets in there.
He's going to be 3 or 350.
Yeah.
But he's going to get his 350 right now.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a $7 bet that cashes out for 20-something.
Yeah.
Or you sit on it and just bet the other 3 heavier and let Logano backstop it.
Yeah. I guess I'm looking at it that he'll never get 16 to 1 on Logano again now.
No, you're true.
But you are right. Take the profit.
All right, let's fire to Xfinity. Custer, Almirola, Creed, Dinger, Mayer, Chandler Smith, Herbst, Allgaier, Zilich. What says you there, Raccoon Eyes?
It's Custer all day. There's a reason why he's up there.
These numbers at Miami are unbelievable.
Yeah. It's not even close. Like his numbers versus the field are ridiculous. Like he has the field covered. Just him. By himself.
What did we think about the Allgaier versus Allmendinger matchup with Allmendinger being locked in?
I would go Allgaier.
So would I for plus money.
Yeah.
That's probably the best bet on the board right here.
Plus 110, yeah.
I will say that Travis upped his Xfinity game just a little bit.
I didn't up my game. I put on there what's available for us to bet.
Sensitive. Let's go. All right, let's move. Let's go. Let's move it right along here, boys. Degenerate 4-pack. It's time.
7:30 Saturday night.
Yeah, noon kickoff.
Professor?
I haven't decided yet.
You haven't decided yet. Jesus Christ.
I think mine's Saturday at 4:15.
Stevie?
I had a Thursday night, but now I'm getting a little nervous that I'm going first.
No.
Just
Here's
here's my thing.
I need to know if you can get Syracuse at 7.5 versus Pitt instead of 6.5.
So here's my one thing is we got to stop. Tim's talked to me because a couple of my bets early in this, I was, doing first half team totals. We got to get to the basics. So this Vanderbilt team total stuff, we can't have that going forward, Steven.
I want Syracuse, but only if I could get it over a touchdown against Pitt. Because the line moved down to 6, I think.
I got 6.5.
So what's it going to cost us to 7.5? Minus 140?
Minus 154.
I think we got to be over a touchdown here.
I'm nervous about that.
Not me. That's a 3-star. Syracuse plus 6.5 against Pitt. Thursday
another
night.
emotional
First
You
bet.
want
up.
6 or 7?
7.5.
7.5?
What'd you say, Professor?
It's another emotional bet.
Not if you look at all the books. Look at all the predictors. Look at everybody. Last week was emotional. You three can kiss my ass. This is a researched bet this week.
They did make my short list. They did.
When were you going to come out with that? I had to pry the support out of you.
I was waiting
Holy
to see what everybody
smokes,
else was going to say.
you're over here rubbing calamine lotion on old Poison Ivy trying to make him feel good, and I had to pry the support out of you.
Listen, I was feeling the room out a little bit. See if the pitchforks were starting to light up with fire.
Jiminy Christmas.
All right, I think I'm up next.
I knew Thursday night would be first, and I'm putting myself out there. I can't believe you guys didn't talk about Bob over here over my shoulder. Trish put him in here for my support.
Oh, I didn't see him.
Oh,
I
that's
didn't
Bob.
see it.
That's Bob. He's been betting Vandy all year.
My new kickoff's going to be Indiana money line.
What is that, like minus 500?
Nah, minus 235.
All right, I'll give you that.
I'm nervous because the quarterback is hurt.
For Indiana?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is he really?
Yeah.
When did he
Are you
get
supposed to check? Do your research.
They beat Nebraska by like 55. How'd he get hurt?
Jesus Christ.
Where are you seeing these injury reports? I only know Cam Rising's never playing again.
What?
During the game. He got hurt during the game.
And they still won by 55? Oh, hammer it.
Nebraska
still like it.
stinks.
I still like it. I like IU.
We're going to go Texas spread over those rich pricks at Vanderbilt.
What's the line?
18.5.
I'm going to tell you, this is going to be a backdoor loss cover. And when it happens, you better come on with some Vanderbilt shit on. You better have a hat, a shirt, and I'll send you the tuition bill.
Is that number worth moving? All right. My bet, Russell, do not let me down.
Oh, no.
I looked at this one. I'm scared. Go
Give me
for
Penn
it.
State
We
money
are.
line.
We are.
Penn State money line.
Oh, money line, we're good. We're good. Good teams win. Great teams cover. We're good on that.
He's a student of the game, boys. He's a student.
Hey, real quick, I had one that I was going to do, but I looked at the injury report. Like, Commanders, 2.5.
Well, that I know Jade Daniels ain't playing.
So here's a couple. I had Ravens minus 6.5, minus 172. I thought about throwing out there against the Browns.
Well, that's a great bet.
I have
Lion.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Lions alt line minus 6.5 at minus 225 versus the Titans
I have that, Hugh.
was another.
Oh, sweet. I had a game I was going to pick on Friday night. There was Rutgers USC under 56.5. How's that
Oof.
game going to hit 56.5?
Friday nights get weird.
That's why I didn't put it.
I got a second half to my Thursday parlay, Minnesota minus 2.5 against the Rams.
Yeah. I liked that one too.
And then I have an anti-Colorado Saturday. New Mexico plus 6.5 against Colorado State, and Cincy plus 4.5 against Colorado. I'm going anti-Colorado.
His number has moved back down a little bit where I can bet it again. Ryan Williams, anytime touchdown for Alabama, minus 115.
Who do they play this week?
Missouri, who is we don't even know what's going on with their quarterback. Give me Jeremiah Smith. I'm going to parlay this anytime touchdown with I don't know what I'm going to. It's minus 175, so I'm not betting alone. But he scored a touchdown in every game this year for Ohio State. He can't be stopped. He's the best receiver in the country.
What's that one?
They're 25.5-point favorites.
Jeremiah Smith, anytime touchdown. It's minus 175, so I won't bet it alone. I'll find something else, maybe a money line or something.
Not me. After what happened to me in Vegas, I'm taking all minus 2s, 3s, and 400s. I need to see some W's on the board.
Well, then you could also Emeka Ibuka, anytime touchdown, minus 120. He's hit it in the last 4 games for Ohio State.
And it all starts Thursday night with the Orangemen.
So what's the odd? What's our number, Tim? Did you put that in there yet?
Yep, it's plus 535.
Okay. Which would pay out what?
$20 would pay us out 107.18.
Okay. We just got to get a win. I'm worried, but...
Oh, I'm scared to death. I'm petrified. And I like to make you all sweat with me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the World Series is upon us. College football, pro football. Oh, congratulate JT Poston. Hickory guy winning out the PGA championship, or won the PGA event out in Las Vegas. That was exciting to see.
How about that?
Logano won, and here we are off to Miami. Russell's going to return to the racetrack. The professor back on site. It's a shocking day. I thought he was going to take a medical leave after what he got into camping, but he looks like he's going to be okay. Get your Degenerate 4-pack put in. May all your bets pay off.